Today on Marvel Movie News, the nominees are in, and I can't get this envelope open. But we're going to talk about everything that Black Panther was nominated for at the Academy Awards. We're going to be talking spoiler-free about The Punisher Season 2. Endgame got there's some new leaks. Don't worry, no spoilers. We're going to be very careful. The Black Knight may be coming. So much to talk about today on Marvel Movie News.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Marvel Movie News.
Oh, hello, Merry Marvelites, and welcome back to Marvel Movie News, coming to you live from The Punisher's Battle Van. I just like saying it that way.
Battle Van.
Yeah, you gotta go. Punisher grabs John Bernthal gravel.
If Frank Castle gets into your van, it automatically becomes a battle van.
A battle van.
Welcome to Marvel Movie News on Popcorn Talk. I'm Zach Wilson. Amy Cassandra-Martinez is here. Christian Bladt is in the house.
Howdy.
We've got Marissa in the booth. Culpa Doe tweeting from the Starjammer. Hey, a few ways that you can keep up with the podcast while you're not listening to it actively, which you're doing right now, which I appreciate. You can find us on Twitter at Marvel News PTN or at the Popcorn Talk. If you tweet a link to the show to one of those networks, you'll get some likes and some retweets. Now we've got that business out of the way. Let's start this show.
Yeah.
Oh, there is so much Marvel stuff. Thank you, chat, for joining us. We got to start this show. I don't want to start on a low note. This is not a low note. This is an exciting note because some of you were here last week, so you know this is Amy's last show with us, at least regularly.
Yes, but what a show, though. I'm so excited about what we're going to be talking about today.
But Amy is moving on to amazing new things.
Yes.
This is a good thing, everybody.
Yes.
It's the Marvel curse that the hosts of this show are so awesome that they just lose enough time to just yell about Marvel every week.
You know, yeah. But I will still be on the Popcorn Talk Network. I know people were freaking out on Box Office Breakdown, but you guys can see me there Sunday nights, or afternoons, actually. It's at 5. We used to go on later, so I'm used to saying
It's
nights.
the evening time.
It's the evening. And it depends on where you're watching us from. But yeah, I'll still be there, and then still on AfterBuzz on Netflix Picks.
Cool. All right, guys. Should we just get into the show? I want to make sure you guys are aware. There's some cool stuff. Stick around. We got a new segment coming up. I guess I should say, while we're talking about Amy leaving, Christian.
Hi.
Christian
I've been
Bladt
here before. Remember
has
me?
been here before. Christian, as well as Zia Anderson, who you may know, will be joining the panel every week from here on out.
That's right. Yes, we're very excited to be talking Marvel movies in addition to talking about Marvel TV over on our sister network, AfterBuzz, on Sunday nights. And we're very excited to be here. We're going to miss Amy, whom we also love from that show in the past. We always say goodbye to you.
I know, and I'm sorry.
But she says
we're still
goodbye.
here.
I say hello.
Hello. See?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, Christian and Z will be with us every week. So it's gonna be the three of us, like, getting into the deep and gritty on Marvel. And there's some new stuff that we're planning out we're gonna make this show really exciting. We're gonna get you guys involved as well, in some fun ways. So stick around. Some of that you'll be seeing today. Some of it you'll be hearing about the next few weeks. Oh boy. Let's get started.
Okay.
Our first topic, the big news of the week. Black Panther was nominated for not 1, not 2, not 3, 7 Academy Awards. Which, 7 for Black Panther, 9 total for Marvel movies this year, because Infinity War also got one, and Into the Spider-Verse also got one. Absolutely crazy. Did Spider-Verse get 2? I might have messed up my count.
It definitely got Best Animated.
Yeah.
Did it get?
Let me see.
I'm checking my. No, it only got the one. I thought for a moment, I was like, did it get nominated for writing? No, it did.
No,
it didn't.
no,
It
no.
didn't. It deserved it, but it didn't get it. I think I dreamed of that. Anyway, but we're not. This is not a negative thing because we're celebrating how much Black Panther did get nominated, and let's go through each one of these categories and talk about this amazing feat. Like, not just like this, like, obviously Black Panther is wonderful. It's one of the most diverse like movies. Like it's putting people in front of the camera, in front of a wider audience than you've ever seen for to represent this like African American audience that people don't usually get to see. But also, as nerds, comic book movies front and center.
Yeah.
The big one, of course, Best Picture. Best Picture for a Marvel movie.
No stupid popular category.
Yeah, I was very glad that they didn't do that category they talked about, Best Popular Film. And I like that they got it out of the way, too. I was actually awake when they were announcing the nominees. And they say, I'm like, okay, so Black Klansman. And they're like, Black Panther. I'm like, whoa, they already told me. So now, so that's very exciting that it got nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah. So let's talk a shot. Like, so here, let's go through the categories first. Because I'm so excited, you guys.
This is very exciting.
We got Best Picture, Best Costume Design.
Ruth E. Carter. Shout out to her. Not that I personally know her, but
I thought you did the way you were doing that.
No, but like I did a video for Geek Bomb. You guys are welcome to check that out, where we really broke down everything with the Oscar nominations and the snubs, and just doing a lot of research and figuring out like, wow, a lot of records were broken.
Yeah.
So Ruthie Carter,
sound editing, sound mixing. Don't ask us to go over the difference. It's way too.
I don't even know if sound editors know the difference.
Best original score, best production design, and best original song for All the Stars by Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
So let's go through Best Picture. Okay. What do you think it has a shot?
I'll tell you why I think it does. There are two movies that would make the point. One, Titanic. The other, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. Those are both very popular movies. Sure, Titanic was a period piece, but come on, it was a big summer blockbuster. And the fact that the Lord of the Rings won, I think it's entirely possible. You look at the other films in the category, you're like, all right, some of those are a little bit more traditional.
Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, which won the Golden Globe.
Correct.
The Favorite, Green Book, which took home the Producers Guild Award. Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice.
Yeah, realistically, if I was putting all my money on the one of those, I think I'll win. It's A Star is Born. But I think Black Panther has a very real chance to win. And I think if enough of the Academy sees it, I think they'll be like, wow, that superhero movie that I didn't know anything about was really impressive.
I think it would have had a better shot if it had come out more recently. That
True.
It was fresher
That's
in
a really
people's
good
minds.
point. Yeah, it's almost by the time the awards happen, it'll be a year.
But this is a really open. Whereas a lot of years you're like, oh well, these two movies are really like the big favorites, and like the others are really dark horses. But this one, like Bohemian Rhapsody, I think the news about Bryan Singer, which we don't need to get into, even though like he is effective. He is a Marvel director at this point, and like, but I don't want to give that guy any more lip service than he needs. But. I think that's actually going to hurt Bohemian Rhapsody and take it out of the running for Best Picture for the Oscars, because voting has still not happened for the majority of members. And that as like what would have been one of the favorites, I think takes it out. Green Book is another big favorite, but none of these are really like this one. Maybe Roma, but even that has like Academy members on the run because it's a Netflix film.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. I feel like some people, a lot of people I've read on Twitter, which I was very disappointed to see, were surprised that Black Panther was nominated in the first place. So I wonder how many of the people voting are a little bit like, what? Like, I don't know about now. I don't know if I want to vote for them. I positively thinking I do hope that it has a shot, just because it is beautiful, like stunning. The plot was amazing. The actors were fantastic. I know a lot of people were surprised that, we didn't get any more nominations on, like Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, all of those. But I feel like maybe Vice could take it. I don't know about Bohemian Rhapsody, but if not, like I obviously want Black Panther to win.
It's still a superhero movie, and like it is like one of the most high like grade superhero movies. Like it's a Shakespearean tale told via like superpowered
Right.
like
How
humans
cool.
in a futuristic African city. But like it's those intricacies, it's the political commentary, and like the acting is spot on. Like if anybody I think from the movie earned a nomination, I think it was Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
For at least for acting. The fact that Ryan Coogler didn't pull a directing nomination, I think hurts its chances. It suggests that the Academy is not going to go for it. But it's just because there's no standout. I think that's what gives it a shot. Okay, but let's keep going through the other nominations that we got. So we've got best costume design, and this is one that I think, as you were saying, like Ruthie Carr, I think it has a genuinely good shot at because the costumes are very unique and like people will remember it for the costumes, and it's up against like a good field, but like Ballad of Buster Scruggs is a Western, had interesting things, but nothing like new and groundbreaking necessarily. The Favorite, period piece, Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins was nice, but I mean, you can kind of lump Mary Poppins, Mary Queen of Scots, and The Favorite as like period pieces.
So I'm sort of like banking on like, okay, well, Black Panther of those is definitely the most unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely stands out in terms of just visually what was accomplished. Whereas Mary Poppins, you're like, okay, so they kind of look like they did in the movie from 50 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
it was great recreation of those
Sure.
of that feeling, but it's a recreation as opposed to Black Panther,
Right.
where you've created a culture through your costumes, and that's what's so impressive about that to me. Similarly to production design, you've got Black Panther, The Favorite, First Man, Mary Poppins, and Roma. This is another one where Black Panther is definitely the most unique amongst these because it's creating a world. First Man was bringing the past to life, as it was with The Favorite, Mary Poppins to an extent. Roma, I haven't seen Roma, so I don't really know anything.
Roma is gorgeous, but I don't know about production design. I don't know. I feel like Black Panther gave us so much that we had never seen before.
Yeah.
Even as far as comic book movies go, which sometimes I feel like that has a negative connotation where people outside of our nerddom don't really take it seriously. So I don't know. I don't think I'm biased at all because we're here. But yeah, I feel like production design, easy. Best picture too, I would say.
Yeah, again, the production design created a world.
Yeah.
Like that's the difference. Is like you were starting from scratch. Yes, comic books you had as a reference point, but like they created a country, a unique country that doesn't exist, but felt real, futuristic yet grounded. It all is there.
And within the country, you have the different communities, the different areas
Yes.
of Wakanda that they went to. So it's so rich that you get, and it's the amount of detail that did not need to be paid. It still would have been a very believable movie.
Just look
but
at
they took
the Jabari's home, which had its
Exactly,
own
yeah.
feel, and it definitely felt like unique to where they were. Yeah.
So I think that it has a real shot for that for sure.
Yeah. Sound editing and sound mixing, again, I don't really know. I forget that every year I forget the difference.
I've had it
and have
explained to
look
me,
it
and
up.
I don't remember.
But the sound design in the movie was good.
Yeah,
Great.
I mean, it sounded
I'm
great
not
in
going
the
to pretend
theater.
to be able to give you a perspective.
Sounds great on my
these
TV as
things.
well. When I watch the Blu-ray. So
Yeah,
I think they
it's
did a
up-
great job.
Yeah, it's up against.
I don't know if
Bohemian
it's like-
Rhapsody, Quiet Place, First Man, Roma, A Star Is Born across the two categories.
I mean,
Yeah.
the only other one that I'd be like, whoa, that one's also really good, and people might find funny is A Quiet Place, just because it
sound
was
becomes a big
so
part of
good.
it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
A Star Is Born, similarly,
mean-
sound is a big part of it because it's a music-based
Bohemian
movie.
Rhapsody, you can say the same thing,
Yes,
but
exactly. Let's keep going through. Original score. It is up against Black Klansman,
Okay.
If Beale Street Could Talk, Isle of Dogs, and Mary Poppins Returns. So, actually,
I haven't seen a few of those movies, but I feel like this is one where it doesn't stand out as in something that the Academy's gonna
the
gravitate
score.
towards.
Yeah, the score was good. It didn't.
not bad at all,
It didn't
but-
pop out to me the same way as like the soundtrack. I've listened to 100 times at this point.
I thought the score was really, really well done. I've seen all of them except Isle of Dogs. And If Beale Street Could Talk is actually really, really iconic, I would say, the music. But I'm also like, well, Black Panther was so epic.
Yeah, and Isle of Dogs does have a good score. It's Wes Anderson, so like music is like it's always his music is always good.
Always great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a sort of a toss-up as far as I'm sure that somebody who knows more about the category and the voting has a better idea. And like when I have to do an Oscar poll, I'll do all that research and I'll be like, yeah, it's this one. Original song, All the Stars. I want to say it's got a good shot. It's Kendrick Lamar. The Academy does like to award like popular artists who like create a song for a movie. Like historically, like you get that a lot. I always think 3-6 Mafia winning.
This is the next thing I
Which
like.
one?
That was for
Sing it.
Crash, right?
No, that was for
Hustle and Flow.
thank you,
Flow.
Hustle and Flow. It was
Sorry.
like Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
It was Hustle and Flow, and I just remember this. That was like Martin Scorsese hadn't won an Oscar, and Jon Stewart coming out. 3-6 Mafia 1 Oscar, Martin Scorsese 0. But yeah, so like, I think it has a shot, but I think A Star Is Born is
Yeah.
probably gonna.
I think if there's
take it.
anything that's a lock to win, A Star Is Born. It's best. It's original song because
Yeah.
it has an original song that really stays with people after they see the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And All the Stars is great, but it is not as integral to the movie as obviously the music of A Star Is Born.
But it's more integral to my life, so I'll give it a vote if anyone will have it.
So we're predicting. To sum up, we're predicting that Black Panther is a very good shot at costume design and production design. An outside chance at Best Picture.
Sure.
The others are like much more dark horse chance.
But isn't it great, though, that we got to this point already?
I mean, 7
I'm so
nominations is
happy.
amazing.
Yeah.
And so to continue with the Oscar talk, there's still 2 more awards that Marvel's up for, which I think it has an even better shot at winning than these.
Yes.
I'd say both of them for sure.
Yeah. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, nominated for Best Animated Feature.
Absolutely.
I think that's a gimme. That's like, if you were betting, man, it's just like, put all of it on Spider-Verse. I liked Isle of Dogs. I liked Wreck-It Ralph 2 and Incredibles 2, but like all of them were semi-forgettable.
Yeah, you can usually count on the Pixar movie, but
They're
this
not
is a
bad.
sequel.
That doesn't mean they're bad, but like
But I don't think Wreck-It Ralph was forgettable.
that's fair. I did
that
really like Wreck-It Ralph 2, and this is I don't, that's a little stronger than I meant it.
Okay, because I love
but like
Ralph and
Incredibles 2
Vanellope.
was fun, but I don't feel any urge to rewatch it.
Right.
I don't
I
feel
do.
the urge.
And they're both sequels. It's like, okay, we've seen both of those before. I'm talking about Academy voters, not us as moviegoers.
Yeah.
And Into the Spider-Verse is like, well, that's completely different than anything I've ever seen before. So I think anybody that actually takes the time to see it would be like, oh, I liked Wreck-It Ralph. I liked Incredibles, but I loved Spider-Verse because it just, just visually alone, it's so unique.
Yeah, and I'm curious, chat. We'll get back to you. We'll get to you in a minute, and Amy, if you could keep track of
Yes.
their response. Which category of all these 9 awards do you think has the best shot? Or which few have the best shots at taking an Academy Award for Marvel? But yeah, I mean, just Spider-Verse was new. And Isle of Dogs is an original movie, which I always want to be like, give original movies their chances. Because Wes Anderson just built something from nothing. But Spider-Verse takes like the Spider-Man story, it does it in such a unique way that I've literally, can't see it enough times. I want to see it.
so
I want to be watching it right now.
I am right now. This is not actually me.
And I haven't seen Mirai, Mamoru Hosada's film, or he's the producer, or he or she's the producer. It's I believe Japanese movie. I haven't had a chance to see it this year.
I have already started though watching as many as possible. So like if you guys are welcome to join too. I know we'll do this for box office breakdown, but just printing out all of the nominations and try to see how many you can watch. Just to be in the loop.
I wish I had time to do that.
I would love to watch all of them. Yeah.
Well, I mean, instead of like watching, I don't know, I don't know, something else. Than
I
put
gotta
that
watch The
on.
Punisher, but
Well,
other than
of
that,
course. Oh my gosh, of course.
That's the
After
thing.
that, I
Every
mean-
week there's something.
There's always
I had to
something
watch
new.
The Runaways, and then I had to watch The Punisher, and there's 2 Firefest documentaries.
it's true.
Oh, I still
don't have
haven't
to-
seen that.
We don't have time to talk about those. But the last one, and this is one I think is a very good chance. Visual effects for Infinity War.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think of all to be honest, like Spider-Verse, maybe for a top, but like this one, I think the visual effects in this movie are so deserving of the Academy Award, and it's all based. And I pulled a picture just so we could look at it on Thanos. Everything else around it is good. It's up it's up against Solo, as well as like Christopher Robin. And what were the other ones that it's up against? First Man and Ready Player One. Ready Player One had like so many visual effects in it from so many different genres to create that world. I see why it's there. Christopher Robin, the characters were very emotive and like they felt like they were little plush toys that you could reach out and play with. It was very good. All of them. I didn't see First Man, admittedly. And Solo and Infinity War I sort of put on the same keel as far as like general special effects, but Thanos alone, to me, and I'm curious what you guys think, Thanos was brought to life so effectively and emotionally between Josh Brolin's performance and the visual effects to make that grimace looking face come to life. That is a groundbreaking achievement to me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's especially difficult. I mean, you could say the same thing about Ready Player One, but bringing so many different characters technically from other movies, like in Endgame, in Infinity War, you also had Rocket and you also had Groot, and you had to like worry about everyone looking cohesively okay together. Or not okay, but better than okay. And yeah, I agree. I think Thanos, seeing him for the first time, just like right there in our screens, big screens, I think they did a really, really good job.
Yeah, just how believable he is interacting
Yeah.
with live actors when you know that that's not what was on the set. I think it's very impressive, and it's definitely a testament to the visual effects of just how convincing he was.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it comes down to like, I genuinely connected with Thanos, like as a villain.
What are you? I'm scared. What are you
Well,
trying
don't let
to?
Zap snap his fingers, because
Okay.
otherwise...
The best, especially superhero movies, are great because of their villains. And we've talked. I know I've talked about that in the past, but like a great hero is wonderful, but it doesn't work if you don't have an equally impressive villain. And when you have the entirety of the Marvel universe, you need a villain who is just as magnetic, even though it's not Magneto, as the entire Marvel hero team. And Thanos was that effective. As much as you're like, you're going to kill trillions of people, but I kind of see your side of it. And like when he's like in the scene on Boromir, when like you genuinely feel emotion for him, whether you agree with him or not.
Yeah.
Is that's a different story. But you can see his emotions on this animated face.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
I mean, what you get is you're sort of talking about great villains. You get it in Black Panther with Killmonger, and you mentioned Magneto. It's like all of them. Okay, so map out what your plan is. Okay, up until a point, it starts to make sense, and then it always crosses into taking it a little bit too far. You know, with Magneto, it's wiping out all of humankind and just having mutants. With Killmonger, he gets a little carried away, and also we have Thanos, where he's just like, I'm just going to get rid of half of it because there's too many people.
his logic is
you had me
there.
up until that point,
Yeah.
but then you're going to kill, trillions of people, and also some of my favorite superheroes. So I am not okay with that.
But it's like he's an environmentalist. Anyway, we could get into all this.
Yeah.
Like his methods are bad, but his goal is
Hey, he does get results. Let's give him that.
Yep, pretty much. All right, well, that's going to do it for our Academy Awards talk. Amy, what does the chat think is the best chance to win?
People are saying that between Ready Player One and Endgame. We're still not really sure here. They're all very impressed with Thanos CGI. Also, Spider-Verse. Yeah, people are really loving that one. People did like Wreck-It Ralph, though.
I didn't mean to sound like I didn't like Wreck-It Ralph. I loved that movie.
Ralph.
No,
It's not as special as Spider-Verse. That's what I'm saying.
It's special in our hearts, and I totally get that.
Not my heart.
What?
My
Yes,
heart's
it is.
black.
Oh no, it's not.
Dead inside.
Well,
It's Spidey.
I'm going to take Black Heart
Hey,
and
wait
use
a
that
minute.
to transition
Okay.
I love it.
into the next story because that was a clean, just like transition point. Because Black Heart, let's talk about Black Knight.
Please, yes, let's.
This rumor had surfaced a little while ago, but now there's a little bit more evidence to it. There is a theory that Black Knight is going to be in Avengers Endgame. And here's the evidence, and I'll see what you guys think of it. Marvel has started sending out solicits for their True Believers line of comics that are coming out in April. If you're not familiar, True Believers line is they do reprints of old issues, like classic stories that you can buy for $1. It's really cool. It's a cool way to if you like physically reading comics to pick up and read, and they do it digitally as well. All of these old like Avengers stories or like first issues of characters, and they usually are in line with, hey, this TV show is coming out, this character is appearing in a movie, and there are two that they've classified. They're like, we can't tell you what these are because they're spoilers. To even tell you what these reprints are would spoil Endgame. But there's also two issues that are unexplained, Avengers 71 and Avengers 343, both of which heavily feature Dane Whitman, the third Black Knight. And so now people are like, is Black Knight in Endgame? Why are we getting two of these reprinted? That's really as far as the evidence goes. But we can take a look. This is Avengers 73, which is being reprinted and features the Black Knight. We're gonna be seeing that. I believe this one also has a story called Endgame in it. I think it was this one. One of them has it.
Nice. I like that.
Sons of the Serpent Strike.
Well, I, for one, am very excited about the idea that Black Knight would be in there because he's not a beloved character for a lot of people. But as I was telling Zach before we did the show, when I read the Avengers in the mid-'80s, he was a permanent member of the team for years. It's sort of an interesting mismatch of a lineup that they had. But I actually really like that character. And I can't say I've been clamoring for him to get his own movie, but the idea that he could show up in something like this, I think that's great. I can't wait to see how they use him if they indeed do.
For anyone who isn't familiar with the Black Knight, which I imagine a lot of people are not, there are three versions. This one that appears in those issues is Dane Whitman, who is a modern day Black Knight.
Right.
Was a hero. His uncle was the second Black Knight, who was a villain and fought Iron Man and so the Avengers attacked this new Black Knight, thinking he was the same villain returned. But Dane's a good guy. He ends up joining the Avengers for a while. He rides a horse. He has this he has a sword the Black Knight
sword,
genuinely is all of his stuff is rooted in Arthurian legend. He travels back in time at one point and meets Merlin and Arthur and it's a whole thing. The original Black Knight was from Arthurian times, Sir Percy of Scandia. I think if we're gonna get the Black Knight with all these time travel theories in the air, I think they go too far and they wind up meeting
Black
Sir
Knight
Percy
1,
in they wind up in ancient England fighting actual knights, and we get a moment of the Black Knight, and as a fun what the hell just happened kind of thing. That would be my theory. And then there was a rumor that Guy Ritchie was developing a Captain Britain movie. Captain Britain has a lot of meets up with the Black Knight a lot in the comics, so the theory is that Black Knight would be a secondary character in the Captain Britain movie.
I mean,
could be cool.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what we're gonna really see in theaters in the next few years, because we don't know. Everything's extremely up in the air. especially with Guardians not gonna
Yeah.
not happening anytime soon. I would be game for it. I think Orlando Bloom wanted to play.
Captain Britain. I do
yeah.
remember that at some point in the past year.
Too scrawny.
Well,
I mean, get some protein in
Yeah,
him.
if he
can
bulks
work
up,
out.
maybe.
Yeah.
yeah, I never would have guessed Chris Pratt to be a superhero. So, think about what he looked like when
Andy
he was.
Dwyer.
Yeah,
looked
when he was on Parks
fantastic.
and Rec season 1, did you think he's going to be a superhero?
Yes.
Okay, well, you did. I didn't. So, people can change their body type. That's my point.
Yeah.
Fair. It's a lot easier to slim down
It's true.
than it is to add 60 pounds of
mass.
muscle. At least if you're going for the original Captain Britain look, which he was a World War II fighter just like Captain America. Yeah. You don't need to retread on that story, so I don't know what they would do with a Captain Britain modern era story. It could be anything.
Well, who would you guys and viewers watching? Who would you guys like to see play Captain Britain?
Oh man, there's
It's a good question.
There's so many just British actors.
Jason
We've already
Statham.
taken a lot of. Just go with them. Yes, if all the British actors are going to play American heroes, then we're going to take one back. Let's get Army Hammer in there.
Yes, there you go. The Lone Ranger himself.
Throw an American into the one British role.
Yeah, that'll show them.
All right, let's keep moving. So this story, so some of you may have seen this week, and I'm going to be very careful about how we talk about this. There were a bunch of more toy spoilers leaked this week. We're not going to show any of the photos because I don't believe in showing you guys those. If you want to find them, they're very easy. Just type in Avengers Endgame toy spoilers. You'll find them very quickly. But there was a few pieces, so minor potential spoilers ahead.
Minor.
There were some character reveals. We're not going to say those on the air. There's one big I didn't know that person was going to be in the movie.
Same here.
That the toy revealed.
Yeah.
You can look it up if you'd like to. The costumes that they show, which have been shown a little bit. Those the jumpsuits that were on the
suits,
back. Yeah. So there's more. So it seems like those are probably real, but we got a better look at them. And it's just because they sparked some cool theories that people have been talking about, and I want to talk about them. So you guys know to turn down the volume if you want to avoid these potential minor spoilers. But here, Marissa, can we change the back wall to red? Let's let people know so they can just look at the screen and know. Yeah, there we
look
go.
at that.
So when the lights turn back to blue, you'll know that you're safe from
This
these
is a red
toy
alert.
spoilers. So the main thing that we saw is we saw a couple different toys. We saw toys for Thor, Black Widow, Hulk. We saw Hulk, Captain America, and then Spider-Man and Black Panther. Spider-Man and Black Panther got special stickers that said inspired by Infinity War, which sort of implies they're almost not in the movie because their toys they're in the same costumes they were when they got snapped, and whether they show up at all, they had to get a designation of this is not from this movie. It's basically from Infinity War, but it's the same line of toys. It's an interesting distinction.
It's an interesting distinction, which you can look at it a number of ways. Maybe they're not in the movie. Maybe it's just right there on the package to not ruin right now ahead of the movie.
Yeah,
that,
maybe
oh my god, they're definitely in it.
They're being real smart about how they market it.
Now, of course, we've all seen a trailer for an upcoming Spider-Man movie, so if he were to be in this movie, I would not be shocked. If he were to be in a lot of the movie, I wouldn't be stunned. But I know what you're saying. He might not be, And I think if they did go to the effort of just putting that sticker on the toys to throw people off the scent, my hat's off to them for the MacGuffin.
The other things that were in there that were interesting, as I said, the costumes, the armor, which we see Thor in that white armor, and we see Hulk in that white armor, which is really cool. So the armor, a lot of people have pointed out, looks like it's similar to what Hank Pym was wearing when he went into the quantum realm.
Right.
So this sort of implies that those suits are specifically so that they can go into the quantum realm, which adds up with a lot of our theories about what the movie's going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were already thinking that.
Yeah, but the fact that the Hulk is wearing armor has so many cool implications. So the big theory online is that we're getting Professor Hulk, which is there's like a run at one. I mean, the Hulk becomes smart at certain points.
Periodically, he becomes
I'm not
smart.
a huge fan of Smart Hulk. I don't even necessarily like Hulk, like talking Hulk. The amount that we got in Thor Ragnarok was my limit for like talking, for like responsive Hulk, as opposed to the version of Bruce Banner and the Hulk that I love is about the duality situation, the fury personified that the Hulk brings, and it's that rage unleashed. That's what I was connected to. Is like letting out an emotion that you can't control. Do you guys like the idea of an intelligent Hulk, a Hulk that has the intelligence of Bruce Banner being in the movie? Do you want to see that in Endgame?
I want to see everything. So that's a trick question, I think. Yes and yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting to see, but I'm with you, and I prefer him to sort of be medium smart. I don't like when he's just Hulk smash everything. I like when you can at least reason with him to an extent, like, hey, you need to help us.
Hey
okay.
there, big
Hulk
guy.
will, yeah, right, exactly. I like that level. If they do Professor Hulk, it will certainly be interesting, but it is not my first choice.
Yeah. What I'm betting more on is something along the lines of, there was a run of comics a few years ago called Indestructible Hulk, which was one of my favorite runs of Hulk I've ever read, which was Bruce Banner wanting to make his legacy about more than being just the Hulk. He wanted it to be about him being a scientist and helping people, helping the world. So he makes a deal with S.H.I.E.L.D. where they'll give him all the resources he needs. They'll give him lab assistants, his own workspace, like everything, so that he can invent and create. In exchange, S.H.I.E.L.D. gets to weaponize the Hulk when they need him. So they get to basically just drop Bruce Banner into crazy situations. And the Hulk is armored up, like he has armor that like grows and shrinks with Bruce Banner when he changes.
Oh, that's cute.
So it's this awesome look of like why does the Hulk need armor? What's happening? But it's just like it augments everything, and it also protects Bruce Banner when he's when he's in between. That's what it reminded me of, but we won't know until we see it. But the fact that the Hulk, I like that we're at least going to address whatever's going on with Bruce and the Hulk, and that like, no moment.
Oh, that was so good. Yeah, I'm just reliving all those moments. All those happy moments from Infinity War.
Yeah.
So maybe
The
it'll be fun if we can get to see Bruce and the Hulk have to work it out.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that would be interesting to see, especially with how much we did get a peek of that in Infinity War. I know a lot of people in the chat are divided, but people are kind of liking Professor Hulk. And they like Hulk talking and being, like, coherent, you know?
As much as the plot line where like extremists gave like the Hulk like super intelligence and all that was like an interesting one, it's not one I necessarily want to see on screen anytime soon.
Let us know in the comments down below. What do you want to see?
All right, moving forward, let's jump over to Fox, which is only spoilers down.
It was really stressful being there.
I know, the red really just
Red
makes
alert
you feel
was
like...
really,
Okay, so jumping into Fox, Deadpool 3, according to Ryan Reynolds, who was doing some press stuff in, I think he was in China, but who was it that was talking to this is according to comicbook.com, I think via Variety. Ryan Reynolds had said that his team was already at work on Deadpool 3, so it's already in development. Whether that means X-Force or Deadpool 3, I don't know. It didn't really, they didn't really qualify it. But what he did say apparently is that it's looking like they're going to go in a completely different direction. And the quote is that often they reboot or change a character maybe like 4 movies too late. So what he's saying is that like what they've done with Deadpool so far is good.
Yeah.
But rather than like keep doing it until it gets stale and then changing something, he's just like, why don't we just make those changes right away and give people something fresh right away on the third one?
So what does that mean exactly?
I don't know what they mean by in a completely different way. Maybe it means him as a supporting character if it's more of an X-Force thing where like
Domino is right here, and then he's just like by the side.
but like Deadpool is great in comics when he's like when he pops up in random things. Like he pops up in like Hulk stories or he pops up in Spider-Man stories. Like I mean not just when the Spider-Man Deadpool run that's been going on recently, but like he just will pop up and like add a touch of like absurdity to whatever's happening.
Yeah, I think whatever they do with him, it'll still be the same spirit of the first two movies. It'll be that irreverent, super violent, really funny take on things. But I think that there's so many different directions they can go where, yeah, maybe he is like a Professor X type to X-Force, something like that, because he's been around the block a few times. So there's so many different things you can do. And I don't know. I enjoyed both of the first two films, and I think Ryan Reynolds is great as Deadpool. So whatever they're up for, I'll be there on opening weekend.
You got a romantic, like the framework that they went with was a romantic movie for the first one,
right?
A family film for the second
For
one,
sure.
And then so like what sort of like kind of genre do they start with and then build out from for this next one? I don't know. Deadpool doesn't lend itself to horror.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, have you seen him with his mask off? Thank you.
Oh,
What? He's not handsome.
But
He's not
you're
handsome.
beautiful.
You could, but like, so I guess you could do that. You could do something like Cabin in the Woods, like to sort of like play with genre,
Wow, yeah.
because I do love that movie.
Me too.
But like, I'm not sure what like. Yeah, I'd be curious to see what they could do with Deadpool 3 to make it feel very different without like obviously betraying the basics of the character.
Yeah.
Or it could just be a true team up movie.
Yeah.
Like, I there is that theory, and I think it's a good one, that a Deadpool Wolverine team up movie to launch a new actor for Wolverine is the smartest way to do it, because it lets you be meta about the commentary. So like it smooths that transition, and then you just drop Wolverine into whatever the hell he's doing. We don't need an origin for him.
No, please.
We've done it more than enough
No
times.
more Wolverine
But you
origins.
can you can just drop Wolverine into whatever X-Men story you're gonna do without feeling like, well, who's this guy?
Yeah.
It's not Hugh Jackman. Well, yeah, because we already had an adventure with him. We got to ease in because we had Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool helping us. It would be a smart play in this world where the mutants are going to have to find their way into Disney's universe one way or another.
So we've got Bob B saying, "What about teen dramedy?" And then we've got Mark and Byron saying, "What about a parody?" I mean, this is a parody now.
Oh,
Kinda?
but I know what he's saying.
But, like, intense?
Sort of like the Deadpool illustrated stories
okay.
where Deadpool
Okay.
gets like they do Moby Dick, but with Deadpool in it, like dropping into those stories.
That'd be
like
pretty amazing.
that would be
You
that would be
guys, good
hilarious if they actually did that on film. Or if they did, what if this is how they wrap up all the Deadpool, all the Fox X-Men movies? What if they do Deadpool kills the Fox universe, and it's just Deadpool mercy killing everyone from the Fox X-Men universe?
I mean,
For 2 hours, it's just like everyone that's ever been an X-Men trying to stop Deadpool, and they can't. And then Mickey Mouse comes in at the end and is like, "Don't worry, I'll take it from here."
yeah.
And Deadpool's smart enough to not kill the new boss. He's not going to shoot Mickey. So
Yeah. Oh my God. I know that we won't get that, but I want it now.
We don't know, because you know how we got that little peek of Ryan Reynolds and like seeing all of, like Green Lantern and all of those projects that he was not so happy about, proud about. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure that Ryan Reynolds would be up for it. I don't think that Disney would be up for it.
Yeah.
I'd be up for it.
Speaking of things that Fox may or may not be happening, New Mutants may or may not be coming to theaters now.
Yeah.
This is like a grain of salt theory because it comes from the podcast Merc with a Podcast. We don't know where his sources are, but tons of people have picked it up, so I felt like it was worth bringing up. But Scott Bechtel claims that he heard that Fox and Boone, the director, cannot agree on a final cut, and there's a lot of back and forth, and they might push it again from its release date in the fall, and Fox might just be like, you know what, forget it, Hulu. We can save on distribution and P&A, and like just throw it up on Hulu, drive subscriptions there. At this point, it's Fox and Disney. Disney may not even want it to be in theaters because that'll help it like distinguish from being a Marvel Cinematic Universe versus not film after the deal eventually like finally goes through. Yeah, it sort of work. It sort of makes sense.
I think it's interesting because it's like, how many of us here have access to Hulu?
Me.
Okay, so I would say it's up there with Netflix. So having that idea of instead of it going to theaters, going straight to Netflix, it's not too far off.
It would drive
but-
subscriptions.
Yeah, but would people be like, oh, it's not even good for theaters? So then they wouldn't even watch it.
Oh, absolutely, you would do that. But you can spend $6. I think they just lowered it to $6 for
Yeah.
the ad-supported
The one with the
version.
ads, yeah.
And as many people as you want to watch New Mutants can watch New Mutants. You can, instead of taking the whole family out to go see and spending $18 a ticket, now $6 for everyone to watch it. I could see a lot of people subscribing on just for that, and then they keep the subscription because they find other things. That's how you drive.
It could ultimately help the movie because, you know, I mean, how many people saw Bird Box just because it was in their house? You know, I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if I had to go out and see that movie, I certainly wouldn't have. There's so many other options. I think it makes sense. I'm just disappointed because I love the New Mutants characters so much, like especially the original team, the pre-X-Force New Mutants. I was excited to see them on the big screen. And I think that however they've mishandled this property, it's very disappointing. Rumors were that it was going to be a horror movie, which I thought was great. Let's take a chance at another genre like we were talking about Deadpool. I'd love there to be a horror movie, an all-out horror movie that's a superhero movie. There are storylines from the New Mutants universe that would have worked, specifically Demon Bear, which I thought we were going to get. And now I don't know what this thing's going to be. So I just hope we get to see it at all. But all indications are that there's a lot of trouble with it.
We will see a version, but
Yeah.
it's just a question of what.
Yeah.
And
All right. Before we get into TV time, we have a new segment coming to the show, and we have an announcement about it that's not from me.
No.
No.
I think it's from a friend of the show that we haven't heard from in a while. Doom himself is here to tell us about his new segment, Doom. Let's go to the Doom's Conspiracy Minute.
very nice choice of music, dude.
Welcome, Marvelites, to the very first Doom's Conspiracy Minute. Yes, every week, Doom will have 1 minute to inform you of the greatest, most impressive, most mystifying, most absolutely insane theories that the fans of Marvel have come up with. Of the Spider-Man theory, where there are 2 universes post-Endgame. Will we be seeing Professor Hulk in the next movie? This and more every week from one man.
Thank you, Doom. I think you have to mix your music down a little bit for broadcast. I'll convey that message to him.
Look, the technology in Latveria is not what we have here, so we'll have to send him an edit bay.
Yeah, so every week we're going to have Doom is going to give us his take on one of the insane like whatever the most insane theories are out there, and you guys can also submit your crazy theories for Doom to talk about. You can send those to us either directly to our Twitters or just tweet at Marvel News PTN. Use the hashtag Doom Conspiracy, which I just came up with right now.
Yeah.
But that's a good way
Yeah,
for us to track it. Doom Conspiracy. And we'll keep track of those theories, and Doom is going to talk about one a week. And yeah, it's going to be a fun segment.
I think it'll be great
look
to
forward
check in with Doom. I always worry
Yeah.
about him.
Yeah,
How's he
me
doing?
too.
Is he
Yeah.
thinking of us? So
Yeah,
it'll be
to
great.
those of
He
you
is.
who are saying, yes, even Popcorn Talk says Doom needs a better mic. I'll talk to him and post a version with lower music later in the week. Check at Marvel News PTN
Only
for that.
if Doom permits. Don't just assume you can go in and change
He's a
his
busy
music.
guy.
Yeah, make sure that
Yeah.
Doom signs off on it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll check with the Latvian embassy. Make sure Doom's okay with it. Okay, TV time.
Marvel movie news. We're talking TV time.
You gotta do the air guitar. Are you sad because it's your last air guitar?
Yeah.
Oh no. Don't worry,
It's
we'll
okay,
air
I'll
guitar
always
for
do
you.
air guitar. Yeah.
All right, there is one thing on the agenda for Marvel TV time today. Punisher. Spoiler-free talk. I haven't even finished the series because there's not enough time, and I assume that a lot of people at home haven't either. So I didn't want to have to force anybody to rush through and catch up. Take your time, enjoy the show.
Yeah.
But wherever you guys are, how are you enjoying The Punisher so far, season 2?
Ladies first.
Oh, thank you. I think it's cool.
How many episodes in are you?
3.
Okay. That's
and a
great.
half.
Actually, let's hear. So 3.5.
I am through 6 because I do the Punisher after show for our sister network, AfterBuzz TV. In about an hour after this show ends, we'll be doing episodes 4, 5, and 6. That'll be Zia and myself, so you'll be able to find us over there. That's why I'm only at 6, though. I feel like I would have actually watched more if I weren't stopping for the after show.
I am also at that point.
Yeah.
It was mainly because I was working absurd hours this
Right.
week. I had like a bunch of like field shoots to do, and like but I found enough time to get 6 episodes in. I want to know what you guys think of it so far. Christian, you've already had time to talk about it. So while Amy and I
go ahead.
think,
Oh, sure.
Tell us what you're thinking.
I'm really enjoying it. I kind of like how it starts off, and we're getting Frank. He's not even in a happy place. He's just in a better place than he was at the end of season 1. You feel like as close as to happy as he can be. I like that that's where it started from. I do find as the story picks up and he gets caught up in that whole situation, keeping it vague, I find that sequence in the first episode, the fight that he gets dragged into, was one of the best Marvel fight, especially on television, one of the best fight scenes I've seen in a long time. And episode 3 is a personal favorite. I just really like that story. It just didn't go where I expected it to, and it was a great character study. And we're getting a lot of character development out of Frank this year, and I'm enjoying that a lot.
yeah, I think that and that's important. Like, I think that Frank's story, like especially his emotional story, is the best part of this season so far. I don't think it's as strong as season 1. At least so far. As I said, I'm only 6 episodes in. There's still 7 more to go.
Yeah.
But season 1 right now was a lot stronger. Frank's story is good, but I'm having trouble connecting to our villains.
Yes.
And like not in a like I need to like be on their side, but like in a way I'm just like I don't buy them yet.
Yeah, I'm finding them interesting, but it's moving along a little too deliberately for me. I kind of want to see, a big showdown that we haven't seen
Yeah,
yet.
I mean Netflix, the pinnacles of the Netflix villains that you have to compete with are like Kingpin and Kilgrave.
Yeah.
And those two were able to be super threatening and scary, and like I was like both a combination of both afraid and worried about them as our villains like right away. Kingpin had the added help of being more established in my mind. Kilgrave, but like I knew who Kilgrave was obviously, but so quickly and like without even being on screen, you're afraid of that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not really and we have like Billy Russo involved. Like that's no secret, but like Billy Russo's in this season as Jigsaw. This is all new. Like no, that
I don't think anybody's surprised to hear that.
But we can take a look at this image that I pulled, and like you see his mask early on, and without and like no heavy spoilers here, but like we don't really get it explained quickly.
Yeah.
And it looks so weird.
Yeah.
And it like the mask evokes Jigsaw
Jigsaw.
from the comics. Like you can see where they like are mapping that.
Yeah.
But his face doesn't feel that way, and that was always the thing with him is he was supposed to have like been like so hurt that like it would change him forever, and
And the way that ends in season 1, you just figure like, well, of course they did that to his face because he's going to look like that. So it is a little bit of a letdown visually, and then also just the the characters kind of plodding through the first 6 that I've seen anyway. So I'm hoping to be rewarded in the second half of the season.
yeah.
Sorry,
Amy,
were
what are
gonna
you
say, Amy?
thinking?
It looks like marble with a little bit of like Dalmatians kind of a look. And I'm not sure how to feel about it. This is one of those shows that I know someone in the chat mentioned it, Mark Ballum, I think it was, that said that you have to be in a certain kind of mood to watch it, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I do love all the violence. I'm a fan of it. I know people
Right
would be
there with you.
surprised to hear that, but yeah, I think that keeps your attention there because it's like, oh yeah, like punch him, yeah, and I love that. But yeah, I kind of agree. I'm trying to make up my mind whether I like this one more than the first season. A lot of people in the chat earlier were saying that yes, they do prefer the second season, but as we kept
Interesting.
talking, people are still a little bit not sure. So let's keep watching it, and then we'll see how
Yeah.
we feel at the end.
Yeah, I'm very curious because
Yeah.
season 1 for me, like I've said this before, but season 1 was I think a very high quality show. I think it was very well written. It does a lot to like talk about issues and I really appreciate it. It wasn't for me necessarily.
Yeah.
It's not that I didn't like it. It just wasn't something that I needed. But that's not a bad thing. I don't love every show on television that's good. I thought it was a great season. It wasn't the thing that I necessarily
But you're
wanted
more
to
excited
watch.
about a character like Daredevil, just in terms of that.
In terms of
universe.
like well, not even necessarily, but like Daredevil. Like I like Jessica Jones.
Sure.
I like for me when I read comics, I tend to like the more out there stuff that like uses reality in its fantasy. The Punisher was just very grounded, dark. Like this is real life, and that's what it felt like. And that just wasn't what I was looking for in a show. But that didn't make it bad. It was great for that. This season is more towards comic books. It feels very heavy on like the fight scenes feel beyond realistic.
Yeah.
In a way that like
Yeah.
the first season, the fight scene like the first and Daredevil, I think with beyond just the powers, the fights always feel like real. Like this is what would happen. Punisher season 2 feels a little more elevated reality, where it's like that's not really how that would go. Doesn't feel down in the dirt the same way. Still very violent for people who want that, but it's like it's clearly a TV show. It's clearly choreographed as opposed to like the times where it feels hard and like this could happen down the street. That kind of difference, but they're still really well put together and like really hard looking. Like you're just like, oh
Yeah.
Amy's all about this. I'm over here just like, oh god,
You big
what is it?
baby. Yeah. And I know Zia also really
Yeah.
loves the Punisher.
Apparently I'm the scaredy cat.
You are. It's okay.
There's a lot of things to be afraid of, but don't worry. Frank will hold your hand and take you through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take you through.
That's my favorite. Every time that he, you know, it's a good scene when Frank does that.
But yeah, so next week we'll be talking about it more in depth.
Yeah.
We'll all have caught up by then and finish the show, and like we'll be able to talk to you about the Punisher in full. So if you have another week to finish the show before we talk spoilers for Punisher. Any final thoughts, guys, on Punisher or anything else from today?
You can, as I said, you can see us talk about it on the Punisher After Show at
Yes.
AfterBuzz TV and on Marvel TV Weekly, also on AfterBuzz TV. You can find those via me. Yeah, I'm on both of those with Zia.
Amy, that means it's the end of the show.
Yeah.
Amy, it's been so nice working with you. I know our time only overlapped for a little bit.
Yeah.
But you've been a wonderful host on this show. We're sorry to see you go, but we know it's for good things.
Yes.
So we wish you only the best. Do you want to say? Do you have any parting words for us?
Yes. Bye. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I just wanted to say that you guys have, mostly been very, very welcoming in the chat, in the comments. But yeah, just, like keep supporting these guys, keep supporting Zia. I know some of you guys don't really know her that well, but she's fantastic. She's a big comic book nerd, so I'm excited for you guys to keep watching the show. Yeah, I mean, I started and I was like, comics, yeah, these are cool. And now, like, I know more stuff about comic books, and it's exciting. Like I said earlier, I will still be on the Popcorn Talk Network on Box Office Breakdown and on AfterBuzz for Netflix picks. So just follow me. I think with a lot of people, it's just like, yeah, we support you, you support us. And by doing that, you're really just watching our stuff. That's really all that we want from you guys. So just follow me everywhere. This is great. It's a little bit surreal.
Where do they follow you?
Everywhere. Just follow me. No, it's okay. No, just follow. No, I'm just kidding. At Amy Cassandra MTZ. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I really appreciate everything you guys, all the positivity, I would say, that you guys just really transfer to us here. So yeah.
Well, I take it personally that I'm on a show with you and you immediately leave. But anyway, I'll miss you. Yeah, I know. That's the real reason why. But I'll follow Amy as well.
Yeah, you're already following me.
I'm going to continue to follow you.
Good, thank
I'm
you.
not going to unfollow you just because you're leaving the show.
Oh,
and you can follow me at Christian DMZ, Twitter and Instagram. You'll find all the things that I just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. I'm Zach Wilson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ThatZachWilson. You can also catch me on my own podcast called Ships in the Night, where we take ridiculous ships and just decide, like, of characters who do not belong together, then we get weird and romantic with it. Actually, the next episode is going to be with Zia Anderson, and oh boy, does it get strange. So I'll tease you with Niles Crane and Jodie Whittaker's doctor. And it's weirder than you think it would go, all driven by Zia. Trust me. You can find that all over the internet at Ships in the Night. Yeah, that's going to do it. Amy, once again, we'll see you soon.
Yes.
Best onwards and upwards. And we'll be back with me, Christian, and Zia, and Doom correspondent starting next week. This has been Marvel Movie News. Thanks for geeking out with us.
Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.